All right, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show is called Redemption Rehab. If you tuned in today, it's for one reason, and that's to start winning championships in fantasy football. Here we are on our website, fantasyfootballredemptionrehab.com, and today we're talking about defenses and special teams. Knowing who the best defenses are can help you win a championship in fantasy football. Today, we're going to be talking about our top defenses. We're going to give you some of our sleeper picks that you can get later in your draft. And we're going to show you exactly where you should take them in your upcoming season-long draft later this year. So buckle up. Get out your popcorn and let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
We are checking out 2020 top defenses in the NFL for your fantasy football season. I'll tell you what, on the left, we've got a great website you need to check out. It's called Fantasy Pros. They're ranking our top defenses. Here they are right here. What does Fantasy Pro do to rank their defenses? They take all the top experts in Fantasy Pros, they throw them all together, they rank them, and this is what they came up with. That's why you need to go over and check out Fantasy Pros as soon as you get a chance. They rank all their players at every position to help you win some cash. Another website we're going to talk about today is on the right over here. It's RT Sports. These are the numbers from the 2019 season. Now, of course, in this league, you can see the point structure is different than maybe in a league you were in. But you know what? These are where they fell. Regardless of whether the points are here, this is how they all lined up after the 2019 season was over. So they're ranking them based upon their point totals from last year. Let's get into it and check out the facts. As you can see right here, the number one defense on Fantasy Pros is, in their tier 1, is San Francisco, followed by Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Right here, tier 1. That means these are their premium defenses, and if you get a chance to get them in your league, you should do it. But guess what? Don't be taking them too early. San Francisco was not the top defense last year. It was Chicago. That's the one everybody wanted because in 2018 they finished the season number 1, but as you can see right here, they've fallen to number 7. Why? Check them out down here. They finished the season number 19. Look, taking the best defense from the year before doesn't always help you. Who was the number 1 defense the year before that? It was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look where they finished. They just finished just above Chicago. Let's get back to talk about who those top defenses are, starting with the San Francisco 49ers. Right here, as you can see, they finished 3rd in scoring in this league. Why? Look at the total yards right there. This number right here and this column right here, that makes all the difference. As you can see there, other things you should be looking at is right here. TDs. New England scored 7 TDs on defense. And, Pittsburgh didn't, but Pittsburgh had a lot more sacks than everybody. As you can see, Pittsburgh's going to improve their defense this year. Right now, as we're filming this, it's towards the end of March. So we haven't had the NFL draft yet. And Pittsburgh did lose some depth on defense, but they managed to keep most of their starters, so they're going to have a really good team. So if you can get any one of these 3 defenses in your draft, so if you're in a 20-round draft, you want to start looking at these guys around rounds 14, 15. Probably going to be gone. Usually are in my leagues, but unfortunately, I don't like to draft defenses too high because I can tell you right now, Pittsburgh was not considered a good defense last year. And a lot of leagues, they weren't drafted. Neither was New England. As you can see over here, the number 1 defense. I was in 4 leagues last year. New England wasn't drafted in any of them. And we did recommend in our waiver wires week 2 that you should pick up New England. If you listen to our waiver wire, which is something you should do every week during the season, we're going to tell you who to take at every position, including defense. And finding out who the best players are early in the season are only going to help you win games. So make sure you get a chance to check out our waiver wires each week during the season to see who you should be picking up. Last year, we recommended in week 2, New England. Would have helped you a lot. Look at all the points they scored. 382. That's 100 more points in this league than San Francisco, who's the number 1 team on Fantasy Pros. Let's take a look at their tier 2 people. As you can see, they have to put New England in there because they did lose some players. Miami came in because the coach from Miami used to coach in New England and rated some of their starters. So I'm not sure that I would have New England in my tier 2, but I can tell you who I do like a lot is these guys, Buffalo. Come on over here and let's check them out. As you can see right here, look at the total yards on Buffalo, 4,700, just above the Ravens right there, who I also like. And Fantasy Pros has in tier 1. I do like Buffalo. I think the draft's coming up here in a month. They're going to have a chance to improve their weak spots on defense. And I think if you're going to see a team move up here, they're number 7 here. I can see Buffalo moving up in here in this top 5 range. So I do like them. It'd be somebody you might want to target. So you can see there's going to be a bunch of teams come off before they're taken, but I'd be looking to, make a list of 10 defenses. Buffalo would be one of them. And once it got down to just a handful of defenses that we mentioned that you should take, I'm telling you what, that's when you pick your defense. When you start to get down to just a handful of your top 10 that you have on your list, you'll see that in your league, it'll fall in the second half of your draft later. So don't panic. If you don't get one of these top 3 defenses, it's no big deal. We like Buffalo. You know who else we really like? I'm gonna tell you what, not sold on Los Angeles Rams. They had a decent year right there. You could take them if you want to, but it always seems like they're always losing players. They lost their middle linebacker. They lost their safety. It seems like they're always losing cornerbacks here or there. Although they did lose some other pass rushers on the outside. A couple of their outside linebackers, they're gone. So I'm not sure I'm going to recommend the Rams. Chicago, I don't know what happened to them last year. I mean, you can see right here, they kind of fell off the map at number 19. Oh, man. They gave up 5,100 yards, but it looks to me like they gave up a lot in the secondary, that number right there. Not sure why they fell off the charts. Something didn't work out for them right there. So I do like Chicago. I am going to recommend that if you do have a chance to get a good defense, you do draft them. Chicago's going to have a good year. But, I mean, if you want some other teams that I really like this year, this is one of them down here. I mean, you can't go wrong with Minnesota. They always have a good defense. Their head coach was a defensive coordinator. And you can see right here, they finished 4th. Problem that you have is they don't score a lot of TDs right here. They were did well on sacks and interceptions. So you could see these numbers here are really important in scoring. So Minnesota is okay. I could see starting the season with them. And a team I really like right here, and you got to figure why, is the Los Angeles Chargers. As you can see right down here, they're way down here. Look where they were last year. The reason I like them is they're getting back basically some of their better players. They're coming in, hopefully they'll go into the season healthy. Their secondary will be good. Their pass rushers will be good. They'll have a good draft, which is coming up in a month here. And I think the Chargers have a chance to have a really good defense this year. So I do like the Bills. I do like the Chargers. I think you can be okay if you take Chicago or Minnesota or any of these top 3. If you want some sleeper picks, it's never easy to do sleeper picks this time of year with just defenses because we haven't had the NFL draft, but we need to know what our top 10 is so we can follow them a little bit as the draft goes on and free agency is still going on towards the end of March. If you want some good sleeper picks, if you come over here, as you can see right here, and you got to look over here how they ended up. They got New Orleans here. You could take them. That wouldn't be a bad pick right there. And as you can see, they only gave up 5,300 yards. So that's top 10 worthy. If you look at some of these numbers right here, you'll see that the 5,300 yards was pretty good. And here's a surprise one. Look at the Jets. I mean, the Jets aren't on anybody's top 10 list, but they only gave up right here, that number right there, 5,100 yards because they had a good coach. He was the interim coach for the Cleveland Browns, but didn't get the job. Freddie Kitchens got it, and then he went over to the Jets and had a good season on a terrible team. And he's back, so look for the Jets to have a good defense. And here's a sleeper pick for you everybody's kind of starting to talk about, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. In free agency, they did okay. Their secondary's been questionable for years now. I look for them to address that. Not only in free agency, but in the draft coming up. So look for the Eagles, watch and see what they do in the NFL draft. I do like them. And here's another team right here, the Broncos. They got a good pass rush. I mean, you can see right here, 40 sacks right here. They only had 10 interceptions, and they didn't get it hardly any touchdowns. I mean, one, maybe it was a special team. It's hard to say. But I do like the Broncos later in the draft just because of the yardage thing. They've got a stout defense. But if you come down here, I'm not sure what happened to the Cowboys right here. You can see right here 5,200 yards total in that column there. That's pretty good. The problem with the Cowboys is they didn't get any pass rush and get any sacks over here, and very few interceptions. Didn't do well there. Hopefully they'll address that in free agency or during the draft at safety or cornerback. And the defense wasn't scoring any touchdowns either. So that's why Dallas fell off the charts. And we mentioned down here is already, we told you about the Chargers, which we really like them a lot. So those are our top picks. Those are some of our sleeper picks for the 2020 NFL season. Look, you can't be taking defenses early. You should take your defenses in the second half of your draft later, somewhere between, if it's a 20-round draft, somewhere between picks rounds 14 and 17, and look for a top defense that fell to you. I sometimes stream defenses, and what I mean by that is I'll go to my waiver wire and I'll change defenses maybe every 2 or 3 weeks depending upon matchups, and just pick up one that has a good stretch. So if I see a team that has a 3-game stretch where they're playing against weak teams, as far as they could take advantage of them, as their defense could really beat them up, you know what? I'm going to go in there and pick them up, and I'm going to play them those 3 weeks. That's called streaming. I've done that with quarterbacks in the past. I've done that with kickers in the past, and I do it with defenses. So don't put too much emphasis on drafting defenses early. It's a huge, huge rookie mistake. And I mean, if you can get one of the top 3 later in the draft, that's good. Maybe one of the sleeper picks like Buffalo, Chicago, or Los Angeles Chargers later in your draft, well, then you did okay. You can start the season with them. But when you see good matchups, don't be afraid to switch defenses. I'm not saying you should cut your defense that you drafted, but maybe you can cut somebody else, pick up another defense, even if it's one game. I mean, getting the win's what's important, okay? You want to beat the guy you're playing against or score the most points if that's how your league is. And sometimes your defense can get you. I mean, look at the points in this league. 382 points is a lot of points right up here. And I mean, that's more than some quarterbacks, more than all the running backs, most of them anyways, 90% of them. And same thing with wide receivers and tight ends. So they are important, but you can overspend on a defense for sure, and I wouldn't do it. Hopefully you'll take my advice. Okay, here we are on our website login page at www.fantasyfootballredemptionrehab.com. If you get a chance, go to this page and log in. All you have to do is right here, put in your email, put in your password, and log into an account, and bang. Okay, here we are on our website. As you can see, you can come over here. We got a ton of free stuff for you to look at. You can come over here and look at our top running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. If you want to get into a premium membership, which is really cool, it's only 94 cents a week. You can get a ton of things in there, like our top rookie picks coming into the league for all you dynasty players. I mean, if you're in dynasty, knowing who's coming into the league at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end is huge. We got that going on. Plus, we give you all our sleeper picks. That's huge. Sleeper picks that you can get later in your draft. And one of the things I really like about our premium membership is our weekly waiver wire report. We can tell you exactly who you should be going after week in and week out during the season to pick up on your waiver wire. That's huge. Not to mention, we give you our daily fantasy sports picks so that you can win some cash on FanDuel. I'm Buster Brown. The show is Redemption Rehab. Good luck.